Welcome back to the channel, Pooper Troops. I'm your host, Dylan, and today I wanted to do another first impressions video about a game that I've been playing recently that I kind of just want to talk about while I'm still currently playing it before I plan to do this big break the backlog on it eventually. Today I'll be sharing my thoughts after finishing the first 5 chapters of Xenoblade Chronicles for my first ever playthrough. Xenoblade Chronicles is a JRPG that has been suggested to me many times over the years, and it's always kind of in the sphere of content that I consume since it originally came out. After more than 10 years of not paying this game any mind, I finally sat down with my Nintendo Switch and began to play this game as the game that I just kind of play when I'm working or when I have a little bit of free time. So sit back, relax, and grab a little snack, maybe some Gushers. I don't know, I had some of those recently. They're pretty legendary still. And let's get into my first impressions of Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles is an action JRPG series developed by Monolith and published by Nintendo that was originally released on the Nintendo Wii in North America in 2012. It has also been ported to the new Nintendo 3DS and most recently the Nintendo Switch with Xenoblade Chronicles the Definitive Edition, which is the version that I've been playing recently. The world of Xenoblade is incredibly interesting as our story takes place atop the body of a massive titan-like being called Bionis, who is frozen in time after its fierce battle with Mechonis, its rival. Bionis is home to many living beings, including the Homs, who are basically just humans, and the beings of Bionis have been deadlocked in a war with the Mechon, carnivorous robots who set hell upon them and devour their citizens, who hail from Mechonis. A mysterious sword known as the Minato is an equalizer in this war, as conventional weapons are not effective in combating the Mechon. Our story follows Shulk, a boy with a passion for tinkering and research who's actually studying the Minato to help develop a better understanding of the weapon itself. This research is to help the people of Bionis learn a potentially better way of using the Minato, as the last hero to wield it, Dunbad, has been left with serious injuries that have caused him to struggle with even holding silverware as he eats from the toll that it's taken on his body. One day while helping out his friends Rain and Fiora, the Mechon return in vast numbers and begin attacking Colony 9 where the 3 friends live, and during this battle, Shulk becomes the Minato's newest wielder. Thus begins our hero's journey of setting out to take revenge on the Mechon who attacked his home and slaughtered his people. The story here is really well made, and it has some twists and turns that have added some real depth to it even at only 10 hours in. The world atop this giant titan is vast and offers much to explore, which I found the gameplay promoted through its use of side quests as a way of gaining XP to level up. These side quests help the player travel and unlock the map, as well as provide small lore and backstory to this land and its denizens. Sure, they may be a bit fetchy in nature, but searching the corners of this world and finding breathtaking views or areas where characters can have their heart-to-heart moments where we learn more about them and their relationships really makes the exploration worth it. Also, the world of Bionis is just really fascinating, and seeing different side quests be available at different times of day because the citizens are going about their days or headed off to bed while other ones are night owls and coming out for the night was just really immersive and cool. I also love the soundtrack so far, but as many of you know, I'm not the most well-versed in how a video game soundtrack kind of comes to be, but I will say that it pairs really well with the dramatics of the narrative, with its large, sweeping pieces where appropriate and more punchy tunes when battle breaks out. Speaking of the soundscape, friend of the channel, Generation Pixel will also appreciate that the footsteps in this game do actually change sound based on the materials that are traveled upon. This was something that he mentioned in his Final Fantasy XVI review that I now cannot stop listening for in games, and also something that does really seem like a jarring case of overlooking a minor detail of sound design that really does add to the settings we travel through in these RPG games. I seriously don't know how Square missed this. And Generation Pixel, I hate that you made me realize this and listen for this in games now. The metallic thud of boot on iron, the soft crunch of foot meeting dirt, and the soft tap of shoes on pavement, all footsteps and subsequent soundscapes that they create are present here. And this is evidence of the overall sound presentation quality with good voice acting performances, a beautiful soundtrack, and a great soundscape of metal on metal violence. The combat system in this game was one that I had heard someone that I used to be friends with once call an auto battler, that you could just sit there and the game would kind of play itself. This just isn't true in any way, shape, or form, as I found a pretty good level of challenge here in Xenoblade. The system is reminiscent of Final Fantasy XII's combat system, in which the characters do have a cooldown before auto-attacking again, but through its use of skill moves that apply bonuses based on the character's positioning, as well as just an overall depth to the combat system, made some of these encounters really tough. There's an aggro system, a stagger mechanic, and ability types that pair together that can make even the most difficult of foes more manageable. The combat system here is surprisingly deep, and it does require some diligence and care in applying these systems even as far as I am in the game. It's complex, and it's simply just not an auto-battler. That was a really bad way to describe that, I think. The last thing I want to touch upon here is the characters. I haven't met the whole cast yet, and I'm sure with 10 hours of playing, only a very limited scope of people have been introduced to me so far, but the cast that I have met, I've been thoroughly impressed with. Shulk is kind of a refreshing change from the edgy anime lover boy that I'm used to, and don't get me wrong, I love those kind of characters in games, but yeah, it's just kind of nice to have a nerdy hero guy to play as for once. Shulk is always looking for ways to fix things and improve the efficiency of other things, and this is a quality that I identified with immediately. I too have the crippling need to jump to the rescue of everyone around me and attempt to fix any of their problems and everything they may even just be minorly upset with, and when that doesn't work out, I get really upset with myself. But I think that this is a realistic character flaw to have. At least that's what I've sort of taken away from his character so far. Shulk is a guy that just wants to help, but sometimes can't really see the way to move forward with that, or tries to take too much on himself as a way to not burden others, and I think that's something that a lot of us can kind of identify with. The supporting characters in the party also have strong personalities that pair well with Shulk, my favorite being the tank dude bro Ryan, who is always down to kick some enemies' asses. He's a pretty strong, funny meathead type, and he's constantly reminding Shulk not to travel down the path of the emo, self-hating Final Fantasy hero. Shulk and Ryan's friendship is one that I'm interested in fleshing out through the heart-to-heart moments and learning more about the crazy times these two have had. All in all, I am loving Xenoblade Chronicles right now, and I'm happy that I decided to try another JRPG series that I have long neglected, because this has turned out to be a wonderful experience. With a beautiful soundtrack, fascinating world and lore, and a cast of lovable characters, I am really looking forward to finishing this game and writing a full-length Break the Backlog on it. But that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel so you can be an enlisted member of the Plooper Troops. Have you played Xenoblade Chronicles? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were, and until the next one, peace.